From Portland International Raceway, Joe Samaniego, Nicole Fry from Fans and Focus Media. What a day. Let's start off with practice. That has just wrapped up. Christian Lundgaard the fastest, and we have Alex Palou, Felix Rosenqvist. I think a lot of people anticipated Felix Rosenqvist to be fast. He typically seems to be fast, but I wasn't anticipating him to be third quickest. Alex Palou, the championship leader, everybody expecting him. Christian Lundgaard, I know you talked to him earlier today. Did you get a sense that he was going to come out with this kind of pace ahead of his other teammate, Pato O'Ward?
No, I think it was a surprise to everybody, even himself, just potentially a little bit, based on the way he was kind of speaking a little bit earlier when we had the chance to talk with him. I think, honestly, the whole top 10 in some regards was quite surprising, but given how hot this weather has been and how unpredictable the weekend is still going to be, it kind of meant that, practice was still up in the air, and I think that's exactly what we saw this afternoon.
It was a very hot practice session. We saw a lot of fast times, lap times here under a minute for 1.9 mile circuit. One big surprise, Scott Dixon going off the track, that final corner. My goodness, for a person that has had only one win this year, for most people, I'll take a season with a win. But for Scott Dixon, I feel like it's a little bit of disappointment. Do you get a sense that Scott Dixon's probably more excited than anything? It's like, hey, I got to win, but I can't wait for the season to be over.
I would not be surprised by that whatsoever. I think everyone is ready for the offseason, especially after the weather we've had this afternoon. I think they're going to be very thankful for hopefully a couple of cool races potentially next. But I think as far as his season is going, it is not what he is wanting. I think he is definitely used to a little bit more out of his car. And so I think he'll be pushing harder as the weekend goes on, just trying to get some points wherever he can.
And of course, with the practice session in the books, we had an opportunity to talk to some of the drivers following practice.
Yeah, it was okay. I think it's a very crowded track, so it's hard to get a clean lap there, even in practice, even when they break the groups up. So that was the biggest thing with me. I think we went out way early on the reds and just kind of got caught behind people on the blacks. But I think the balance is good. I think we made a lot of progress this session, so I think we'll be all right.
Well, yeah, it was chaotic on that first half. I mean, it was tough to try to get a lap in and understand where we were at, but thankfully for that group running, space everybody out, and we got the answers we needed. I think there's still a little bit of time to find. Hopefully we could put it all together and catch up to that number 10 car.
Yeah, great. I mean, it's still, you never know who had, clean laps or anything. But, yeah, for us it was good. Got what we needed from practice, learn a little bit, and seems that we have a fast car. So let's see what we have tomorrow.
Yeah, we started out great, and kind of everything we did made it worse. So we know what we should go to. That's how we started, but yeah, just go a different direction for practice too. I think we have a good car. We should explore a little bit more the opposite way of what we've done.
Car feels strong. It's nice and warm. It's going to be warmer tomorrow, so we'll see how the car behaves there. It's all well and good. I think we were reasonably quick, so yeah, it'd be cool.
So Nicole, one of the big things, of course, practice session at the end of the book. But we heard the drivers talking about the heat, and you've been mentioning the heat today. Very hot conditions today. Overall, when it comes to the impact, what are we looking at?
So we're looking at some unpredictable strategies because I think some teams are not going to be prepared for just how hot this race has been. I think this is the hottest race we've ever had for INDYCAR in Portland, and we've been racing here since 1984. So it is going to be a warm one for sure. I think we can also expect to have some unstable tires potentially. I don't know how any of the teams are really expecting their tires to react given just how much aggregation we could potentially see. It is going to be tricky, but I think they're trying to crunch the numbers right now and figure out what their best strategy is.
Because I know today we're not in the 90s yet, and they were saying the track temperature was over 110 degrees. We're looking at the forecast still showing 96 degrees on Sunday. That's looking like we might be in the 120 range. We're talking some serious heat out there. We have the two tires compounds, the soft tires, the red tires, and you mentioned the strategy. With the lack of grip, do you think this can just make that race wide open, even if somebody has a poor qualifying effort on Saturday, which will be warmer than today, but it's not going to be 96 degrees yet?
Yeah, I think if some of these drivers can really manage their tires, this track is so sticky. When I went out and did a track walk earlier in the weekend on Thursday, your shoes were just sticking so horribly. It's going to be very interesting to see what these tires do, and if the drivers can wrangle their tires, I think they have a very good shot at making some unexpected moves.
That's crazy. I can't imagine trying to do the track walk Sunday when it's 96 degrees. The tires are going to be sticking. I mean, shoes are already sticking. It's going to be really interesting. Now, earlier today, Nicole, you had an opportunity to talk to several drivers, and I talked to a couple of the Indy Next drivers. Here are some of those interviews.
The weather this weekend is quite hot. How are you preparing for that as a driver and as a team?
I mean, it comes down to the work you do really before the season with the physical training. Our cars are really tough to drive, no power steering and just high G-forces, so it's really tough in general, and then the heat just adds another layer to that. So seeing the forecast for Sunday is definitely going to be hot and sticky, but also now, like when you're deep into the season, you're sort of quite used to driving the car, so it's going to be tough, but I'm not too worried about it.
And as far as the infamous turn 1 here, the Sheldon chicane, what is your approach to that out of turn 1 or out of the first lap?
Yeah, I think qualify as high up as possible usually helps the turn 1 chaos, but it's definitely tricky. It's always a place where there's a lot of incidents, so yeah, it's gonna be tricky. It's no real go left or right. It's no real way of doing it or avoiding it. You just have to be a bit lucky, I think, and yeah, qualifying high usually helps it.
And is a high qualifying position your goal for qualifying? Is it your goal for the weekend, or are you just going to kind of hope for a midfield so you can let the chaos in front just kind of handle itself?
No, I think it's a very track position kind of race, so I think you want to qualify. For me, in the top 6 will be a very good place to start the race, and will put us in a good spot for Sunday.
Wonderful. And fun question, when you put on your race suit, do you go left leg first or right leg?
I think left.
You think?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll think about it now when I put it on before fresh practice.
Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
Thank you so much.
It's been a bit of a crazy weekend so far. How are you preparing as a driver, especially given the weather conditions and it just being so scorching on Sunday?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Seeing what the car does on the practice sessions and then qualifying, it's going to be a very different thing when we show up to the race day. I think the conditions are going to change a lot, and we never know what the tires are going to do. You never know if some compound is going to do a lot better with 20 degrees more on the track, or it could be even more, just because the heat goes exponentially up whenever the ambient is up. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. It's going to make the race tougher, and especially strategy and tire choice, so I'm excited.
So you've won here twice, you're hopefully going to win here twice in Portland. We'll see, I shouldn't get ahead of myself. What do you think is different this season compared to your last win? What has been more challenging? What has been a little bit easier?
I think this year we just had such a good car and good team, and everything has been going so well for us, strategies, and we've been having that sparkle of luck whenever we needed that, and that made a big change. So I just think that it's been a magical season so far, and can't wait to get more.
So have you had a favorite moment of your season so far, given that we're kind of nearing the end and you're kind of starting to think about off-season and next season as well?
I mean, it's hard to top the Indy 500 win in May. That was the best moment. That was the biggest moment and the happiest moment for sure.
And final question, fun question. When you put on your race suit, do you go left leg first or right leg?
Left leg first.
Always left leg?
Yes, and then the opposite with the boots.
Opposite? Okay, so you definitely have a routine down.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I did it someday, and then I just follow that.
Just work the one time?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, thank you so much. Congratulations on this weekend. Hopefully we'll see you back on the podium.
Awesome, thank you.
How are you liking the weekend so far? How are you feeling?
So far so good. It's nice and warm. Weather's nice. I got to go to the zoo yesterday, so at least I spent my time a little better than I normally would.
Any favorite animals at the zoo this weekend?
I would say the polar bears are pretty cool. I've seen tigers and lions before. The cougars were awesome. What else was cool? What's the animal called? King Julian from Madagascar.
A lemur.
Yes.
All right, Sunday, how are you preparing?
Yeah, throughout the year we've had plenty of hot races, right? So, from a driver's perspective, team's perspective, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. But I do think it's going to be different that it warms up so much throughout the weekend, right? And tomorrow morning for practice 2 is going to be completely different than race day. Throughout qualifying, it looks like it's going to heat up quite a lot throughout the session. So it's just trying to stay ahead of that from a performance perspective. I mean, I don't mind the warm, I don't mind the cold, so just have fun, really.
And it's your first season with McLaren, Arrow McLaren. You've had some amazing finishes, some great drives. How do you feel like your season's gone so far, and what are your hopes, hopefully, for next season?
Ultimately, I think we've had a good season, right? I think we've had 5 podiums, which is already 2 more than I've had in my entire career with my prior team. So to do that in 1 year, I think just shows one, the commitment the team's made, into the series and the trajectory that they've been on in the past couple of years, and we want to do even better next year, right? And between Pato and I, we've had 11 podiums, which is a career high for the team in one season, and with three races to go. So a lot can still happen. Still kind of knocking on the door for the top 3 in the championship, which I think would be awesome. It does require a couple of good results to end the season, which I think is possible. We missed out on a couple of better results early in the season that I think we missed out on a lot of points there. But overall, I've been pretty satisfied.
Well, thank you so much. Best of luck this weekend. Have fun in Portland.
Thank you.
Feeling ahead of the Portland weekend, especially with the hot weather we're expecting.
Ooh, hot weather is brutal for us in these cars. I looked at the weather last week and I was like, oh, it's 70s. It looks lovely, nice and cool. But yeah, we're built for it. We can take some heat. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what that does to the tires in our cars for sure, because today is actually quite pleasant, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, Sunday's going to be a lot different. Speaking of Sunday, what are you hoping for a good weekend? Like, what is your ideal outcome?
Honestly, we want to be in the top 10 here for sure. I think last year was the first race that I got to do on a road course with this team, so we have some information from last year, which is really, really nice. And yeah, we just want to have a solid weekend. I've had a lot of really weird races here at Portland. I've been on fire. I've been wrecked like 3 times. So I would just like to have something where nothing goes wrong and we just have a pleasant, solid weekend.
That sounds absolutely amazing. But Portland is always unexpected, especially that very first turn, the Shelton chicane. How do you approach something like that?
Just basically try to avoid chaos. That's it. I mean, I've been hit there many times in my life. So avoid the chaos, try to get a little lucky, and when you come out the other side, you hope that you've made some progress.
Final question, fun question. So AMP is a sponsor of yours. When you go to a gas station, what is your go-to snack?
Oh, you know what? If it's morning time, I love a good breakfast sandwich. Give me a breakfast sandwich, maybe a little sausage and egg taco, something like that, and coffee. I need coffee to survive. So I love AMPMs. Let me tell you, when we go there, when we got these guys as a sponsor, I was so pumped because I'm a gas station convenience store guy. I need to get in there for snacks. It doesn't matter what it is, a beverage snack. So yeah, it's an awesome partner to have.
Thank you so much. Good luck this weekend and stay cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome back to Portland. I know the last time you were here, Formula E. That was pretty fun. Can you tell us how was that experience overall? Because I know we tried to chat with you, but just too busy in the paddock that.
Yeah, it was a very fun experience. I think it was obviously my first ever race and in Formula E, so it was a little bit last minute as I was the reserve driver for Nissan, and Oliver, unfortunately, he couldn't make it over here. But everything, I think I really enjoyed the experience. Was very tough. It's a very tough championship, really competitive, but I think I learned a lot, and obviously it was a great experience to my career.
Now, you're coming off a great weekend in Laguna Seca. You're coming back to Portland where you got experience, of course, a different car. Do you feel pretty good of a chances of another win here?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a track that is really nice. I really enjoyed driving this track. I think last year, even in IndyNext, we finished quite well the race. But it will be tough. I think it's getting tough every race with the level of the championship. But we just need to keep working hard, and hopefully we can come out on top.
Overall, when it comes to ovals, that's something for a lot of drivers, a big learning curve. How do you feel in the ovals?
I feel pretty confident. I think we have a really good car overall. In Gateway, we had a track record. Obviously, we led almost all the race and just lost it in the end. But I think we have some stuff that we need to work on my driving as well. But hopefully, we can have a good competitive car and fight until the end for the championship.
And last question, when it comes to next year, the off season, what are some of your big goals? Are you going to be doing like any other races?
Find a seat in INDYCAR. I think that's the main goal, but we all know how hard it is to get there next year. But no, hopefully just keep it in shape. If something pops up, I'm always ready to race. I love racing, so whatever comes, I will be ready.
Thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Myles, good to see you again. I know overall, how do you feel this season has been going for you with the win and so on?
Yeah, it's been going really good. We want a little bit more out of it. We're hoping to finish top 3, but maybe a little bit further up the order in the championship by the end of the year. I think these last 3 races will be pretty crucial for us in a positive way. Luckily, we got a win before we hit these 3 races, so we have some momentum, and I think we can get a few more with the right execution in the events. But overall, I think the team is really happy with the performance so far.
And you got Portland, then of course Milwaukee, Nashville. How does Portland rank? Is this a track where you're most excited about, least excited about, or somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, no, I'm really excited for this track. I mean, first of all, it's very nostalgic for me to come back to Portland all the time. Since winning the championship in 2023 in USF Pro 2000, and I do really love the track. There's not a lot of elevation, but the corners do flow really well, and that's something I really appreciate about this course. And like I said, just the city being super nostalgic for me, but also I do like the city in general. Portland's, I think, a really beautiful city. It's dynamic, different, but I do like it. So I love coming back here, and I'm very excited to do this as the last road course for the season.
Now, Indy next, a lot of competition this year. The competition level has been so intense. Of course, as you're climbing up the Indy ladder, does it just always seem to amaze you how much more and more competitive it gets, or do you just anticipate okay, it's going to be just as competitive as the other series because everyone is trying to get to that next level?
Yeah, I think the expectation isn't a shocker. Really, I've kind of always expected this level. It's like the top tier world class drivers. There's some over there in Europe and some over there here, and that's what we're racing in. So it never really caught me out in a shock. If anything, I appreciate it because I consider myself that level, and it's nice to race against other people that level as well. And I think most of us at the front have a good deal of respect for each other. So if it's not me winning, hopefully it's someone like Dennis or Caio winning, because that shows the level of strength we have as drivers. So yeah, no, I love the level of competition that's in this series.
And of course, with the off season coming around the corner, any big plans you're going to look for any other motorsports events to participate in?
I want to do some IMSA events later in the year, get some more seat time, maybe in a Porsche and a GT3 and stuff. So looking at that, I'd love to do a 24-hour Daytona. That would be awesome. But yeah, right now I'm just focused on finishing up the season. Not too much in the works right now besides, just making sure we focus on priority number 1.
Myles, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck to you this weekend.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so
You've
much.
been here a couple of times. I believe you got the championship here last year as well.
Yeah.
How are you feeling going into this weekend, given that Portland is sometimes a tricky track?
Yeah, looking forward to it. A little bit sad because it's our last road course of the year. No, look, it's always a nice place to come on the West Coast here, and the track's a bit different with a lot of right-handers, not many left-hand corners, but the left-hand corner is very important. So it's definitely a tricky track. So just looking forward to getting out there and see what we got.
And the weather this year is a little different as well. It is scorching. It is going to be boiling on Sunday. How are you kind of preparing for that as a team and as a driver with a track like this?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think this is the first ever time I've been to Portland, haven't been wearing a jacket, so that's definitely a weird experience. It's going to be interesting. Every year I've been here, it's been cooler conditions, which affects the car and the balance on track. So yeah, don't really know what to expect. I'd prefer it to be cooler. It's a lot easier for us in the cockpit. But yeah, no, we'll see.
Yeah. And as far as strategy goes this weekend, what are you thinking, especially with the weather and tire drag potentially being an issue?
Yeah, well, for us, we don't do the pit stops, so it's pretty easy for us. We hope we don't have to do a pit stop. It should be pretty straightforward for us. It just might mean we just have to manage the tires a bit more in the race with the hotter conditions.
And final question of the day. So if you could do a road course anywhere in the world with your current car, where would you like to go?
Road course anywhere in the world. Oh, that's an interesting one. I've never driven Spa in Belgium, so that one's definitely on the bucket list. So to drive the Indy IndyCar around there would be pretty cool.
Thank you so much for your time. Good luck this weekend.
Cheers, appreciate it.
So Nicole, one of the drivers you got to talk to, of course, Alex Palou, the center of attention. Championship scenarios we're looking at. he finishes ahead of Pato O'Ward, it's over. He got the championship. If he finishes second place and Pato wins, even if he gets a bonus point, he claims the championship. When it comes to this championship, really, we're looking at Pato O'Ward needing to outscore Palou by 14 points. How reasonable do you see that? Do you see that as something Pato could do? Because he did practice in the top 10, but ahead of him, Alex Palou.
It's so hard to say. Both drivers have done really well at this track. Despite the fact that Pato O'Ward has yet to actually get on the podium, he's come in P4, I believe, twice. And so he has a good history at this track. I think he can do really well. I think it is just going to come down to so many external factors on Sunday and in the next couple of races that really affect if this championship is still up for Pato's grasp. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but this weekend is definitely going to be interesting regarding that.
And one thing interesting with Christian Lundgaard practicing faster, I recall Christian was saying how the car seems to be more set up for Pato O'Ward. Now, I'm wondering, this is after all Aaron McLaren in F1 2. Do you think they might be looking at Christian Lundgaard's setup of, hey, could we incorporate this in Pato O'Ward? Or do you think Pato's team is just going to focus on do what we need to do and not overthink it and mess ourselves up?
If I was Pato's team, which I am definitely not an expert, I would say don't mess anything up. They know how their car behaves. There's going to be, again, so many external factors just with the weather alone. I think it is not worth the risk. I think they stand the chance of running a much cleaner race and a much more predictable race if they just leave things as they are, with maybe just some tiny little tweaks that you would typically see during a race weekend, but completely changing their car to potentially adjust it and mirror their other driver, I don't think is a smart move.
It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. The other interesting story, of course, a lot of people have been following Will Power's situation. Now, yesterday you talked to Will Power, and he brought up, he would like to know what's going to happen in 2026. Today we find out from Bob Pockris, who happened to talk to Will Power after we did. We encourage everyone to check out yesterday's video. You could see Will Power on the phone with somebody yesterday while you were interviewing folks. He cannot talk to teams until the end of the season, but Penske will not tell him what's the plan. He is the lead Penske driver in the championship standings. Today in practice, Joseph Newgarden was the fastest Penske driver. Do you feel this sets up Will Power sort of in an unfair situation where he can't do anything until Penske does, and Penske's saying, we might tell you after the last race of the year?
I think it's an unfortunate situation, but I don't think it's necessarily unfair. I think they knew what they were getting themselves into. He's always known that he will not be able to speak with other teams until after this season wraps up. And so I think it's just a waiting game. And he's hoping for sooner rather than later as far as some interesting news, whether he's going to have a seat at the team next year. But only time will tell, and he's just going to have to wait it out.
And one of the things, David Malukas was in the top 10 for practice today. He has been doing pretty well, and one of the things interesting, AJ Foyt Racing has been outscoring Team Penske in the points this year. David Malukas, he has a Gallagher paint scheme, and of course a lot of folks know that's one of Penske sponsors. Earlier today, we saw outside the media center, Joseph Newgarden, David Malukas. Appears they were doing something together for social media. Overall, do you think the signs are starting to show that maybe David Malukas knows this could be his opportunity here at Portland with a strong race?
I think so. I think any driver who potentially has a good weekend here is going to look at this as kind of like a highlight reel moment for them so that they can go to potential teams and say, hey, look at how much I can do. Look at how much I did given the tricky conditions at a tricky track. And so I think he's definitely going to be looking at this weekend as something that he can put in his back pocket to use in the future. But I don't necessarily think it's going to predict the future.
It's going to be very interesting to see how this all turns out. We encourage everyone, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our coverage tomorrow, Saturday, and then Sunday with the pre-race show and the wrap-up from Portland. Nicole, I'm Joe. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.